Hey Simonics, what's up? This is your favorite YouTuber once again. My last video with a kinda clickbait title got a lot of comments, and some of them were actually about that it's not about finding the big idea and getting rid. I'm actually 100% the same opinion. With this video, I want to clarify a few things and talk about what a Micro Saas is. A Micro Saas is about being really small, and perhaps you haven't heard about that before, so let's change this today. I think there's in general like a little confusion around the topic of startups, because the public opinion around this topic is in general that you have to build something and then you gotta get money from somebody to make your app as big as possible and grow, and everyone needs to build the next Uber for X or the next Facebook or whatever that might be. Actually, my plan is completely different. It is true that there are a lot of companies, especially let's say in the Bay Area, that are looking at this business model. They want to grow as fast as possible. They will lose a lot of money in the beginning to get so many users that in the end they add like a payment and then everything is a huge success. And after a few years of burning yourself completely out for a company, you have a big exit. But here's the thing. I am not interested in this kind of model at all. I've never been part of a real startup. I just saw a few of them from the outside. Their work ethics and how they work all day and hustle all night and everything's so cool, and I'm building this shit. But I transitioned from a software developer into a self-deployed developer to have a lot more freedom. I don't want to give up this freedom. I don't want to be employed again. I don't want to build something that will become my own prison in the end. I think a year or 2 years ago I learned about this term called Micro Saas. And the idea here is that you build something that you can run on your own. You don't need to hire anyone. You don't have any huge additional cost up front. And there's also not a lot risk involved. I learned about this concept from someone called Tyler Tringas. You can look him up. He built something called Store Mapper, which was a tiny widget that people could include in WordPress. In the end, he grew this project and sold it eventually, I think so. Also, there's a great book called Start Small, Stay Small, I think, which basically puts everything that I want to do with a side project into 4 words. So with all the side up talks I've had in the past, with the projects I've built, my intention was always to build something like a Micro Saas. And for this, you don't really need any idea that will make you rich. Also, rich can be defined in a lot of ways, but that's a topic for a completely different video. So whenever I talk about the projects that I want to build, I always mean these Micro Saas applications. I want to build something that solves a pain, a problem for a specific group of people, and if that group of people is like 500 or 1,000 people, that is no problem to me. If 1,000 people would pay like $5 per month, that is a recurring revenue of 5K per month. And if you build this once, you can also build it again and again and again. And it doesn't even have to be as big as 5K per month. I would say 5K per month is already a lot of money. Perhaps it is also just 500 or 1K. That is completely fine as well. If you get into the startup world and then you need to hire people, then it already starts that you got a lot of responsibility for those people. And right now I don't feel comfortable having responsibility for a lot of people. I just want to build a great business for myself. I want to have a nice life with my family here. I don't want to have 15-hour work days. I want to work 6-8 hours per day maybe, and then I want to relax and enjoy my life. And also, I don't have to work on the huge idea that will make the world better, because if you get into that sector, I think you really need the venture capital and all this stuff that I really don't want to have. Therefore, right now, my approach is not to build anything disruptive or whatever they tell you about these projects. I just want to build something useful that people need, that people want to pay for, and then build and stack some additional income on the side. That's like 100% my philosophy. And you are completely right with a lot of comments below the video that marketing is important, the UI and the UX is important. But I still think with all of my previous projects I failed in the step that actually comes before all of the code writing and stuff. The things I had built were not really targeted towards any real pain. Most of them were, well, that's nice to have, but that's not really a good idea to get started with. Also, some of the comments were, I only build stuff for myself that I need. Yes, that is fine if you have a job, if you have a regular income, but I don't have anything of these, so I'm responsible for generating income so I can pay my rent or I can build a house, and therefore whatever I spend my time with, I have to make sure that somehow it generates any income. These videos are actually something that I have no idea how it will ever generate any income. The only thing I wanted to do with these videos was get more in touch with my community, and that is something that I still want to do all the time. So to wrap up all the talk about the Micro Saas and ideas and everything, one final note that I actually learned over the last weeks reading a lot of things. In the past I played basically the idea roulette. There was a cool article that said you don't need an idea, you need a market. And that is something that really got me thinking about my approach towards these side projects. I can actually brainstorm a lot of topics and I have a list of ideas, but like 99% of these ideas are things just like my other projects that are nice to have. A list of content for creators, well, that's nice to have, but that's not really solving any pain. And if you're not Apple, it's really hard to tell people what they were missing in their life, and I'm actually not Apple. I have to build something that is really useful, and therefore I'm currently looking for a market. Yeah, I'm looking with my Googles for a market, and actually I don't know about a lot of markets, so I have no ideas about a lot of markets. I know about software developers and how it's life in some companies, and I know about how to be a solopreneur, blogger, YouTuber, whatever you want to call that. So the focus for my next weeks is currently to look into the niches that I know about and find something to help them, which actually might be something that helps me because I'm in those markets. But in general, the approach is different than from just brainstorming cool ideas to a more analytic approach towards, okay, what might this market need, or what might be suitable for that market, and what is a problem that these people really have. So I hope you enjoyed this topic on clarifying a few things about startups and the idea of a Micro Saas. If you have heard about this, or if you've built something about this, or if you want to learn more about this, please leave a comment below, because this is now really 100% the philosophy that I have, that I want to build and that I'm working towards. So I think we already are past a lot of episodes, and it might be time for another app review next week. If you haven't shared your apps, you can always do this right below the video. I already got a few but I might have to draw something with my random generator, which are my hand on the mouse somewhere here. Just leave a comment if you've built something with Ionic right below the video, and then I might review it next week. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like, please share it with your friends, your co-workers, the whole university, because we're close to a milestone of 25,000 subscribers, which is really awesome, but we still need to get to 100K. Anyway, this week go out, perhaps read an article about Micro Saas, get a bit more into that idea, because I really think this is something that a lot of developers could do. It helps to build these small projects and get them to the market. You don't always have to wait for the huge exit to get some capital or whatever. This is something that really every developer can develop on their own. So I encourage you to check out the Micro Saas topic, and then I will catch you next week, perhaps already with an idea, perhaps not, I don't know, but I will be motivated as always, and I hope you too. Have an awesome week, build something great, and I'll catch you next week like always. So happy coding. That was the wrong place. Anyway, Simon.